Hi, Conrad White from Success Council. Last week, I introduced you to a great tool called a political compass. If you want an explanation of how the compass works, then you might want to watch part 1 of this video. This week, we're going to take a test and see where you fit. Who knows? You might be a communist, a fascist, a libertarian, or an anarchist. I'm guessing you'll be somewhat surprised. Then you can compare yourself to Gandhi, MLK Jr., Hitler, Obama, Stalin, and hundreds more. In fact, it's probably wise if you just go ahead and take the test now. That way, you won't be tainted by anything I say. It only takes about 4 minutes to complete, and afterwards the site explains why each question was asked and gives you your results. So go ahead and go to www.politicalcompass.org. Read the instructions on that page and then click Take the Test. Click pause on this video and I'll talk to you when you finish. Okay, we're back. Did you learn something about yourself? If you are comfortable, go ahead and let me know below what your score was and what you learned, if anything. So now that you're finished with the test, I can share my feelings on it without tarnishing your results. Let me start by saying, in my opinion, the good folks at politicalcompass.org have made a valuable contribution to political debate by splitting the social and economic views from a linear spectrum into a compass. In part 1 of this series, I used the compass to support my argument that all nations are marching toward tyranny. Having said that, I think they made the compass less useful by trying to measure people's position instead of ideology. In part 1 of this video series, I labeled one end of each axis as 0% government and the other as 100%, which quantified it. The more issues you believe the government has a right to interfere with, the more you move to 100% government side. The less, the closer to 0%. But what politicalcompass.org has done is made assumptions about the common groupings of issues and attempted to plot out those issues on a spectrum. For example, page 1 of the quiz offered this question: our race has many superior qualities compared with other races, to which you can agree or disagree strongly or not. Now, the nature of the question is to pigeonhole you with like-minded people. For example, Hitler believed there was one superior race. Presumably, a strongly agree answer pushes you more toward the authoritarian, or an advocate of the government forcing its will on citizens to achieve social change. But this is false. Imagine if Michael Jordan was doing this test, and just before he was thinking that he would love to have the world's best basketballer son. To give himself the best chance of success, he might think, well, the NBA has a highly disproportionate number of African Americans in it. Therefore, I would prefer to mate with an African-American woman because our race is superior at basketball. So he goes ahead and ticks strongly agree on the quiz. In the calculations, the algorithm takes that answer and pushes Michael further towards authoritarian. But is that true? Of course not. The test seeks to group people by stereotypical thought patterns, but it becomes so prejudicial that it doesn't mean anything. For this reason, I think it misses the mark big time. I think almost everyone agrees that, to steal a Seinfeld line, Kenyan men are great at marathon running. Norwegian women are great at marathon running. African Americans are better at track. Asians and Indians are good at math. The list is never ending. You have thousands of issues by which we all have opinions, that one race or culture is better than the other. If we're able to calculate the sum total of all of those opinions, it's statistically impossible that we arrive at the conclusion that all races are equal. So we do think some races are better than others at certain things, and that opinion depends what we value as important traits. But so what? How does this tell us anything about our political tendencies? It doesn't. Unless you argue that most fascists believe more strongly than the rest of society that their race is superior, in which case the compass assumes you are like a fascist if you answer those questions accordingly. That's crazy. The useful question to ask on this quiz is, do you believe the government has a right to treat some races better than others to achieve socially desirable outcomes? Now, if the answer is yes, it will mean with certainty that the person moves towards the authoritarian end of the spectrum and a no moves them to the anarchic end of the spectrum. What about this question, controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment? Agree or disagree? Well, it's irrelevant on a political compass. The relevant question is, should the government force people to take certain actions if their motive is to control inflation/unemployment? Agree will push you left. Disagree will push you right. I could go on because I think almost every question could have been worded better, but I think you get the picture. That's why I have reservations about the validity of the test. So with all that being said, it's still pretty fun to compare yourself to other people. So let's do that. Okay, let's start with the U.S. Well, politicalcompass.org has something right. Obama and Romney are almost identical. But let's look at their economic ideology first. They have them over here on the right with strong free market tendencies. On what planet did they come up with those results? In fact, on another graph, they represent Milton Friedman, a famous American free market economist, as only slightly more free market than them. Now, Friedman was an advocate of no minimum wage law, no unemployment benefits, no state housing, no single-parent pension, and no deficit spending, to name just a few. Obama and Romney are champions of all those causes. Obama inherited a country where over 50% of all income is taken by local, state, and federal taxes. He then increased government spending and taxation. To me, that says they have to be on the left-hand side of the compass. I do agree that they are authoritarian. I know we have a lot of Ron Paul fans who watch these videos, so let's look at him. Well, they place him here, very free market oriented. I agree with that. But in the top half of the compass, saying he is more authoritarian than not on social issues. He thinks the government should not be involved in education, not be involved in Iraq and Afghanistan, Syria, or Iran. He is not an advocate of nation building. He wants to legalize drugs. I put him much lower down the compass. In fact, I put him down here where I put myself. I will leave it there. But you can check out the website. They have Canadian, Australian, New Zealand, European, and all sorts of other countries, so you can check out the ones you're most interested in. Let me know your thoughts below on the political compass, and also your thoughts on my critique. Are they valid? Now, in my next video, I'm going to talk about the Republican National Convention in Tampa that's coming up on August 27, 2012. We'll talk about all the shenanigans that have gone on to decide who is in that room and what we can expect from the convention. In the meantime, go ahead and thumbs up this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's also fun to share this video with your friends and get them to take the test. See you in the next video.